So recently we took a look at the two kinds of bulbs that are in our kit. Here we have a round bulb on the left side and a long bulb on the right side. I've put two round bulbs in a loop over here and put two long bulbs in a loop over here. So the round bulbs are in the red, the long bulbs are in the brown sockets. And we're going to take a peek at some things. Now, this is to reinforce what we learned in Unit 3, Activity 1. And students were actually asked to design experiments to try to figure out how round bulbs and long bulbs affect a loop similarly and differently. So while groups did a variety of things, which I was really pleased with the variety that we saw, I wanted to make sure people had an opportunity to see all that was out there that we could do with this. So what else do we have here? I also have a battery pack hooked up here. I made sure that the end of the wire over the red springs is over the north side of the needle. I'm going to keep this as part of our loop in case we would like to look at compass deflection. Most students looked at bulb brightness for the two, magnitude of compass deflection, and then some other groups went further into it and looked at charging time and some other things. Please remember, if I am going too quickly in the video, you can always pause and go back if you'd like to write things down. So let's take a look. First of all, we're going to light two round bulbs in a loop. So I'm going to go ahead and take my round bulbs, which again are in the red sockets, and I'm going to put them in my loop this way. And please notice the brightness. We'll take a look at the magnitude of compass deflection, and it's about 20 degrees clockwise. That one looks like it's maybe about 18 or so. So we've got two round bulbs in the loop. While we have those in the loop, I'm going to go ahead and add a capacitor to this loop, and we're going to check out charging and discharging time with the round bulbs in loop. Ready? 1. So it's a 1 count to charge the capacitor and 1. It's about a 1 count to discharge the capacitor. And I'm going to go ahead and leave it charged for right now. So what about the long bulbs in the loop? Well, if we put the long bulbs in the loop, we now have the two long bulbs. Please notice that they are not as bright as the round bulbs were earlier. And if we take a look at the magnitude of compass deflection, it looks like it's at about 8 degrees clockwise. That's in the way. So it's about 8 degrees clockwise is our magnitude of compass deflection. So the next thing we did with the capacitor was we put the capacitor in the loop and checked lighting time. I went ahead and reset the capacitor. I'm going to go out of order a little bit here. And counting, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was not a reset capacitor. We're going to try that again. Now we should have a reset capacitor. And ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about a 4 count for charging the capacitor and to discharge. 1, 2, 3. About a 4 count again. I'm going to go ahead and charge the capacitor through the long bulbs. It's about a 4 count to charge the capacitor through the long bulbs. What if we were to discharge this capacitor? It was just a 4 count with the long bulbs, but we discharged it through the round bulbs. Let's check that out. Ready, and 1. And that's just a 1 count like it was before. What if we charge the capacitor through the round bulbs? And we would expect a 1 count. 1, there you go. And we then try to discharge it through the long bulbs. And 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about a 4 count again. So we now have a charged, we're going to go ahead and charge the capacitor again. And to do that, we're going to put this in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We charge the capacitor through long bulbs. Now it's completely charged to the long bulbs. What if we were to discharge it through the Genicon handle? How many spins would we get? Well, before, when we had done the round bulbs, we'll have to go with the other one first. We had about 2/3 or 3/4 of a turn, but let's check it with after charging through the long bulbs. Ready, go. That's between 2/3 and 3/4 of a turn, which is the same as what we had when we charged the round bulbs, or charged the capacitor through round bulbs, and bulbs are lit and they're out. And if we discharge through the capacitor into the Genicon, make sure that that's in line with the stationary handle, and there you go, about 2/3 or 3/4. So it looks like the long bulbs are less bright than the round bulbs. It looks like the magnitude of compass deflection was 8 degrees clockwise with the long bulbs, and while it was around 20 degrees clockwise with the round bulbs. The lighting time while charging and discharging the round bulbs was about a 1 count, where charging and discharging the capacitor through the long bulbs was about a 4 count. And lastly, after we charged the capacitor through round bulbs, it turned the Genicon handle about 2/3 or 3/4 of a turn, which is exactly the same as what we got through when we charged the capacitor through the long bulbs. So it looks like there's not a difference in the amount of charge that actually moves. It just takes way longer for that amount of charge to go through the long bulbs when they're in the loop. I hope that helps.